The early morning sun spilled golden light over the quiet farm, but inside the small wooden cabin, Henry sat alone, staring at the worn-out photograph of his late wife. Tears welled in his eyes, a mix of grief and loneliness pressing heavily against his chest. The fields outside were lush, yet the emptiness in his heart made everything feel hollow. He whispered her name, his voice cracking. Life had moved on for others, but for him, time had stopped. Every creak of the floorboards reminded him of a presence that was no longer there, and a deep ache settled in his soul, longing for love that seemed forever lost. By noon, he wandered through the fields, the wind carrying memories of laughter and warmth. He never expected anyone to appear in his solitary world, especially not someone like her. She emerged from the edge of the forest, tall, fierce, with eyes that held storms and fire. She was an Apache woman, her presence commanding yet strangely comforting. Henry froze, unsure whether to speak or flee. Her gaze softened when she looked at him, and in that moment, he felt an unfamiliar pull, a spark he hadn't felt in years. "I want a child from you," she said, her voice steady yet vulnerable. Henry blinked, stunned, unsure whether he had heard correctly. The words echoed in his mind, colliding with fear, desire, and confusion. He was a shy man, a simple farmer, unaccustomed to bold declarations. And yet, there was something in her eyes that stripped away doubt, revealing a raw honesty that demanded attention. He had mourned his past, buried dreams of a family, yet suddenly, the impossible seemed possible. Days passed as she stayed nearby, helping with chores, tending the small garden, and sharing stories of her people. Henry remained shy and hesitant, words often failing him, but he noticed small changes within himself, laughter returning, warmth creeping into his mornings, and a hope he thought he had lost. Slowly, the farm transformed from a place of solitude into a haven of connection. He watched her work with reverence, amazed at her strength and grace. Yet, beneath the budding closeness, fear lingered. Could he truly embrace this new chapter after years of heartbreak? One evening, under a sky painted with fiery reds and purples, she turned to him as they sat by the creek, hands brushing unintentionally. "Henry," she whispered, "I know it's sudden, but I feel like we were meant to find each other." The words wrapped around his heart like a gentle hand, and for the first time in years, he allowed himself to dream. Her presence had brought a rhythm back to his life, a heartbeat he thought had stopped. But as hope blossomed, a shadow of doubt crept in. Could love truly grow so quickly, or was he fooling himself once again? The next week, news arrived that shook Henry to his core. A neighboring farm had been burned, livestock lost, and some claimed it was a band of raiders targeting isolated homesteads. Fear gripped him, not just for his property but for her. He had never been brave in the way the world demanded, and yet, suddenly, courage became necessary. Together, they fortified the farmhouse, gathered supplies, and watched the horizon for danger. The shy farmer realized that protecting someone else's life, someone he loved, required more strength than he ever knew he possessed. Evenings became moments of quiet connection. By the fire, they shared past regrets, hopes, and dreams. She spoke of her tribe, the values she cherished, and the children she longed to raise. Henry listened, captivated by her passion and tenderness. Slowly, walls built by years of loneliness crumbled. He felt alive in ways he had never imagined, yet the thought of giving her what she wanted, a child, remained a whisper in the back of his mind, tangled with fear and self-doubt. Could he truly become a father again, and could he embrace a woman so fierce yet gentle at the same time? A sudden storm forced them to seek shelter in the barn. Rain pounded the roof, wind rattled the wooden walls, and lightning illuminated her determined face. Amid the chaos, she grasped his hands. "Henry, life is fragile. We have to take chances when they appear." Her words pierced through the fear and hesitation that had long held him captive. That night, surrounded by the storm, he felt a clarity he had never experienced. Love was no longer a distant dream, it was here, raw and urgent, demanding a response. Morning light revealed a landscape washed clean by the storm. Together, they surveyed the fields, now glistening with droplets of rain, and laughter began to fill the air. Henry felt a courage that had once seemed impossible surge within him. The farm no longer symbolized emptiness, it had become a place of beginnings. The Apache woman stood beside him, her smile radiant, and he realized that life, with all its twists and uncertainties, had given him a chance to start anew. Yet, destiny had one more twist in store. a revelation that would test their budding bond in ways they could never predict. The following days brought a mix of joy and challenge. Henry found himself laughing more than he had in years, yet the thought of the child she desired lingered in his mind. One afternoon, while working in the barn, he overheard rumors from travelers. An Apache scout had been seen nearby, and tensions between settlers and tribes were rising. Fear crept in, gnawing at the fragile happiness they had built. The shy farmer realized that love was not enough. Survival, trust, and courage would all be tested. He clenched his fists, determined not to let fear destroy what he had finally found. She noticed his unease and approached quietly, placing her hand over his. "Henry, we face challenges together," she said. Her voice carried strength, yet tenderness melted his lingering doubts. He nodded, feeling a resolve he didn't know he possessed. Days turned into weeks as they prepared the farm, reinforcing fences, storing food, and learning from each other. He admired her fearlessness, and she, in turn, appreciated his quiet determination. Their bond deepened in a way that neither had expected, love growing steadily, forged in both laughter and adversity. One evening, while stargazing on the porch, she turned to him with a smile that held both mischief and warmth. "Do you know what I've been dreaming of?" she asked. Henry shook his head, heart pounding. "A child," she whispered. "A little one who carries both our stories." Fear and excitement collided within him, but he realized something important: life without risk is life without love. He reached for her hand, feeling the pulse of possibility. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to embrace the future fully, believing that love could conquer doubt. Then came the twist. One morning, a rider arrived, breathless and anxious. "There's trouble near the creek," he said, eyes wide. "A band of raiders threatens the settlements. They could reach your farm." Panic gripped Henry, but she placed her hands on his shoulders, steadying him. "We face it together," she said, unwavering. That day, they worked side by side, defending the farm and protecting their home. The shy farmer discovered bravery he never knew existed, and the Apache woman revealed a tactical mind that saved them from disaster. In the chaos, something unspoken passed between them: trust, respect, and undeniable love. By sunset, the danger had passed. The farm bore scars, but they had survived. Henry and she sat on the porch, exhausted yet exhilarated. She leaned her head on his shoulder, and he held her tightly. "We can face anything," she murmured. Henry realized that life had given him more than he dared hope for: a partner, a purpose, and a chance at family. That night, he dreamed not of the past but of what lay ahead: laughter, children, and a love that would endure every storm. Weeks later, a joyous realization dawned: they were expecting a child. The news brought tears, laughter, and a newfound closeness that deepened each day. Henry watched her with awe, amazed at the strength and gentleness she embodied. He vowed silently to protect her and their unborn child with every ounce of his being. The shy farmer was no longer just a man of solitude, he had become a father-to-be, a protector, and a partner in a life brimming with love and promise. Seasons changed, and the farm flourished. Together, they planted new crops, mended fences, and welcomed visitors with warm smiles. The bond between them strengthened, a living testament to resilience, love, and hope. Their days were filled with simple joys: laughter echoing across the fields, shared meals by the fireplace, and quiet conversations beneath the stars. The Apache woman and Henry had discovered that love was not merely a feeling. It was a choice, a commitment, and a shared journey toward a future they both longed for. Finally, the day arrived when a healthy, crying child entered their lives. Henry held the baby in his arms, overwhelmed by emotion. The Apache woman stood beside him, tears streaming down her face, her hand resting on his shoulder. "We did it," she whispered. The shy farmer, once lost in grief and solitude, now felt complete. Life, with all its unexpected twists, had gifted him love, family, and a home filled with laughter. The child's cries echoed through the farm, a reminder that hope and courage could transform even the loneliest heart. In the evenings, as the sun set over golden fields, Henry and she would sit together, the baby nestled between them. The farm, once a place of silence and sorrow, now rang with joy, love, and new beginnings. They shared stories of the past, plans for the future, and dreams for their child. The Apache woman's boldness and the shy farmer's quiet strength blended perfectly, creating a home built on trust, respect, and unconditional love. Every day reaffirmed that their union was destined, a miracle born from courage, honesty, and unwavering hope. Years passed, and the farm became a thriving homestead, known for its warmth and abundance. Henry's once lonely heart now beat in harmony with his family's laughter. The Apache woman's dreams had come true, and their child grew surrounded by love, courage, and stories of resilience. Together, they had faced fear, uncertainty, and doubt, but had emerged stronger, bound by love that had conquered every obstacle. Life had given them more than they had imagined, proving that even the shyest heart could become brave when love demanded it. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Henry watched his child play in the fields, the Apache woman smiling nearby. Memories of grief seemed distant, replaced by a present rich with joy and hope. Their journey had been marked by trials and twists, yet the reward was immeasurable. They had created not just a family but a legacy of courage, compassion, and love that would endure for generations. The shy farmer, once lonely and grieving, now knew the true meaning of happiness, a love that grew stronger with every challenge faced together. And so, the farm flourished, echoing with laughter, song, and life. Henry and the Apache woman shared quiet moments, hand in hand, hearts intertwined. The child grew, surrounded by stories of bravery and kindness, embodying the love that had brought them together. Every challenge faced had strengthened their bond, every tear shed had deepened their joy. In the end, their story became a testament to the power of love, courage, and hope, a reminder that even the most unlikely hearts could find happiness when they dared to embrace it.